Welcome to Longtail University Lesson 6. Today we're going to be going over how you can use your competition to find great keywords. Essentially, we'll be teaching you a couple of techniques to scope out your competition and find out what keywords they're targeting, and then to see if those will work for your own site. So the thinking behind this is basically with any business, you want to minimize time spent and risk as much as you can. And with keyword research, that means finding out what's already working in the market, meaning looking at your competitors and then seeing if any of those keywords would work for you. The difficulty here is not a lot of people know how to do this the right way. They might not know how to find their own competitors. They definitely don't know how to find the competitors of their competitors. And this whole process can be quite difficult if you don't know how to go about doing it. If you can do it though, you'll be able to find a ton of keywords you would have never thought of. You'll be able to target your competitors' keywords, but also their competitors' keywords. You'll be able to discover entire niches or sub-niches within your niche that you didn't even know about. And ultimately you'll be able to get way more keyword ideas than you'd find otherwise. So today we're going to go over two methods of doing this competitor research. One using SEMrush and one using Google. Ultimately, this is going to be one of the easiest ways of doing keyword research and coming up with ideas. And this is all the stuff that you'll learn this lesson. And we'll just jump into Google now to start off an example here. So I'm just in Google here and I've searched best compound bow, which is one of the keywords we worked on previously. And we're just going to start opening up a ton of these sites to see what keywords these sites are targeting. There's a bunch of niche sites in here. There's some that are archery specific and there are some that are more broad. So take this site, for example, Pick a Bow. This is a site that obviously targets archery. And immediately we see best compound bow for the money right at the top. So that's potentially a secondary keyword. Compound bow reviews, that's a pretty obvious one. We would have probably found that anyways. Best compound bow by price is a potential secondary keyword. Let's see what else we have here. This bit targets beginners, so maybe something like best beginners compound bow. Best compound bow for hunting, maybe, because this section targets hunting and target shooting. So maybe something like best compound bow for hunting, best compound bow for target shooting. And it says the best compound bow, so maybe that's another secondary keyword you can try and target. Best compound bow 2016. So just going over this compound bow page, we're finding a ton of potential secondary keywords that we could target in the same article that we target best compound bow. Or if you want to write secondary articles separately, that might work too for some of these. Fastest compound bow I'm seeing, best youth compound bow, and then just below here, best compound bow for women, maybe. So this is the first pass. We're just looking over the page, seeing what kind of things seem to be targeted on this page, and then adding that to our little unorganized Google Sheets there. Now this is the interesting part. We're going to look at what other articles are on this site to see if they're targeting any other keywords. And this article seems to be targeting what is a compound bow and types of compound bows. So those are two secondary keywords that might deserve separate articles as well. Here we're seeing a bunch of technical terms which are also potential secondary keywords. So on this article we see recurve bow. So, that's clearly another type of bow. So we can add that to our little list. And we're moving on to the next site in just a second here. bestcompoundbowsource.com. A lot of the same keywords. Best for beginners, which we have. Best compound bows for the money, which we have. And this seems pretty targeted to its compound bow specifically. Compound bow reviews there. The best compound bow. So this site seems to be targeted specifically to its compound bows, but there's a link here for beginners and for hunting. We have those already. And then there's a link to this other site called Archery Choice, which might have more keywords. So we're going to open that up. So this article goes over, some of the technical stuff with regards to archery, which honestly I don't know a lot about. But these kind of niche specific terms could be search terms with search volume. And if nothing else, they're definitely long tails. So if you're going to build a bow site, you would want to know about them and know to include them in your articles. Best budget compound on this article, best mid-price, best high-end. Not going to include those, but hopefully you get the idea. And then we're going to click on this article about best compound bows for hunting. This article doesn't seem to specifically be about the best compound bow for hunting, but and then we're going to go to compound bow reviews here and look up basically each of these different bows is a potential keyword. So we can read the reviews, and then we see, Bear Archery Motive 6 review. That's potentially a keyword. Now the search volume isn't going to be very high in that because it's very specific, but it's probably not that competitive either. So now we're in this Archery Choice page, and we're starting to see, these keywords broaden out a bit. Best recurve bow, which is a whole another section that we could include. And then I believe I saw best crossbow there too. Just going to move these keywords over to a different column here. What is a recurve bow? Traditional recurve bow or best traditional recurve bow is probably a keyword. Something like best budget recurve bow, takedown recurve bows. These are probably keywords. And then again, you have the names of the individual models of bow, which are also potential keywords. I'm not sure what a wood riser takedown bow is, but that's maybe a keyword. And then long bows, that's potentially another keyword. Best long bow. Maybe best budget longbow or something like that. And then youth recurve bows. We had that in compound bows, and now we have that with recurve bows. Ready to shoot recurve. Again, I'm not sure what that means because I don't know a lot about this niche. It's just a keyword that we found from the previous lessons. And then all these accessories are also potential keywords, right? So you could theoretically write articles about the best quiver, the best stringing device, the best recurve accessories, the best pin sight. Each one of these products is a potential article. Now, you might not get a ton of traffic from those. The search volumes are probably not that high. But it will bring in some traffic because they're basically super long tails. And if you do enough of those articles, you can get, each individual article is not going to bring in that much traffic, but overall, it could be a substantial boost. So, now we're moving on to other products entirely, best range finders. So, if you don't like bow and arrows, you could maybe build a site entirely around rangefinders. Best crossbow scope, that's definitely in the bow niche, would fit in an archery site. And obviously you could also target best crossbow. But, immediately I'm finding products that I didn't know anything about. Best red dot scope. I don't know what a red dot scope is, but, that's worth looking into if you're going to build a archery site. And, you've already written articles on recurve bows, compound bows, crossbows. Then you can start moving into these accessory items. Best hunting arrows. So, we've already found a ton of potential secondary keywords for an archery site. Or, if you go even broader, as we will do in a second, we could broaden out into, outdoor survival niche altogether, and, not just focus on archery, but also focus maybe on hunting with guns, or, just outdoor survival in general. And we're going to show you how this process will take place, how we branch out into those other niches. So I'm just organizing my keywords here in a little better way. Best game camera. And I'm designating a lot of these accessories as secondary keywords for now, but that's assuming that I want to build a site about archery. It's entirely possible that, you could build an entire site around some of these accessories. So, we just saw best binoculars, best hunting binoculars specifically, but, I'm sure there are niche sites out there or authority sites out there that target best binoculars. And that would be a whole different niche from from archery keywords. So, we're going to move on to something that's a bit more broad here, because, a few of those results were very archery focused. This site seems to be more survival focused, and it seems to have a ton of different niches or sub niches on one site. So we're just going to look for articles, and, under gear reviews, immediately we see a ton of keywords. Best ear protection. So now we're moving into hunting with guns, or guns in general. Best survival watches. If you're not comfortable with the idea of guns, you might not want to focus on those keywords, but there's definitely some outdoor keywords here that you could target that have nothing to do with guns. Best survival watches, best hunting rangefinder, best belly band holster, best broadheads, best survival water filter is another one that, if you have a issue with guns, or creating a site that's focused on that niche, there are still, outdoorsy keywords that you can find by doing this process, like best survival water filter, best survival watches. So we're just going to put best hunting binoculars, which is one of the keywords we found in this process, into Google. And this is how we start branching out. This is the idea of finding the competitors of your competitors. So, best hunting binoculars was targeted on one of the sites we looked at in the first pass. And now we're branching out. And as you can see, we're basically delving into an entirely different niche. Even though, it's broadly the same category. These sites are totally different from the sites we just looked at. We're just taking down a few binocular related keywords here. Best compact binoculars, or best compact hunting binoculars. Best binoculars with rangefinder. This advanced hunter site looks like it's quite comprehensive. So I'm just going to show you another tip here in a second. But let me just browse around this site. Trail cameras. there are a ton of articles here, so there's a lot of keywords to mine if you really want to go super deep. And so not all of these keywords will be focused on SEO. Like the 14 must-have compound bow tuning tools is probably more viral keyword. Best carbon arrows, best youth compound bows, which we have already. Best compound bow for women, which we have already. And I'm just going to show you a little trick here. So if we go back to Google, and I'm just going to make sure we're on google.com versus some other country's Google. So if you put in site : and then the domain that you're looking at, that you're doing research on, this basically pulls up every page that's indexed in Google. And if we put best after that, we can find all the keywords that site is targeting with best in it. So this searches advancedhunter.com only. This site : advancedhunter.com query. So this is just a quick trick to find basically all of the keywords that this site is targeting with the word best in it. So best trail camera, or best cellular trail camera. Trail camera reviews is another one. I'm just gonna note these down. So now we're gonna do the same thing on another site, this outdoorsmantime.com. This is another site that looks pretty broad. So we are just going to enter, use the same kind of query, site : outdoorsmantime.com, and then best afterwards, and we'll find again a ton of keywords that this site is targeting with the word best in it. So immediately I see best fishing rod, best fishing reel, best fish finders, best tackle boxes, best snowboard bindings. And now we're really getting into niches that we weren't looking at originally. And so I could already imagine, if you're doing keyword research, not only do you have a bunch of great archery keywords by going through this process, you could maybe structure your site so that it's more targeted towards the outdoors niche versus just archery. And then initially you target those archery keywords that you have, and then slowly you build it out into a more well-rounded outdoors site, and then you're going from niche site to authority site. So best snowboard bindings there. Let's see, what else is there? Best trekking poles is another interesting keyword, and I'm going to stop noting these down because there are just too many of them. Best pocket knives, that's a keyword we've looked at in the past, but it's good to know that some other sites are targeting them. Best fishing fillet knives, fishing kayaks. And then we can enter best trekking poles into Google, to find yet more sites. So this is 3 levels deep now. We've looked at the competitors of your competitors, and now we're looking at their competitors. So Clever Hiker, this is totally divorced from archery at this point. And this site has a ton of gear guides. So, we can use that same trick, site : cleverhiker.com, and then best, and search it. Backpacking sleeping pads. That's a product I didn't know existed. I don't know what that is, but it's interesting. Lightweight trekking poles. Let's see what else is there. Best backpacking tarps. Bivy sacks. I don't know what bivy sacks are, but this is how you learn about different niches. This is how you discover different niches. Best backpacking tents. This is how you come up with keywords that normally only experts in that niche would be able to find. Best sleeping bags and quilts. So hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea of how you can do competitor research manually. There is another way. You can use SEMrush or SEMrush. The real strength of SEMrush is the kind of competitor analysis we just did, and we use the software primarily for this purpose. as we just showed you, you can do it without paid tools. But if you can swing to $70 a month, SEMrush can help you streamline this process. And for the sake of being totally complete, we're going to go over how you can do this in SEMrush. And the main advantage here is that it's much faster. On the other hand, you are paying for a monthly subscription. So it's up to you to weigh those two things against each other. So we just put in Picabo into the SEMrush search bar, and we can view the full report. And we'll see all the keywords that site that we looked at just now is ranking for, and you can kind of export those as you wish. And you basically get a large list of keywords. And then if you want to do competition analysis, so we can just, you can see the export button there. And if you scroll back up to the top, you'll see competitors on the left-hand side. And if you just click that, or, you can click back to the overview, then you can see the competitors. So, some of the sites we looked at here, a straight arrow, best compoundable source is in there, the best compoundable is in there, archery choice is in there. And you can just, basically do the same thing for any of these competitors, and you'll be able to see the keywords that they're ranking for. Now, obviously, this process is quite a bit faster than the process we just overviewed in Google. Two things to note there. We think, it's good if you know how to do this manually, because, if you understand the process of why you want to do something, that's half the game. So we do recommend that everybody learn how to do this manually. And then in terms of using SEMrush, it does streamline the process a lot. It makes it a lot faster. There's a lot of data in SEMrush, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, because you're not only seeing keywords that a site is ranking for in the top 10, you're seeing like up to top 50, I believe. So if you can afford the SEMrush subscription, then go ahead and do that, and use it for your competitor research. If you can't afford it, you can still do it in Google. Try to find good keywords, put together a site, and start ranking for those keywords. And once you've kind of built up some small amount of income, then you can reinvest that into a tool like SEMrush to do this kind of competition research. The other thing we want to note is, after you've found these keywords, you still have to go back into Longtail Pro and kind of do your keyword validation, right? Because it's totally plausible that some of these sites, which are targeting keywords, they haven't done their keyword research properly. And if you really want to kind of hone in on the best keywords available, then you do have to take those keywords you find when you're doing competitor research and put them back into Longtail Pro. So hopefully, this lesson was illuminating in terms of how you can scope out your competition's keywords and use them to your advantage. And I hope you will come back for lesson 7. Thanks.